What is up, YouTube Nation? It is Friday, June. Oh no, my GoPro battery is about to die. No! I am driving to Ebon Park for what I hope to be my final major long run of this training cycle. The hay is almost in the barn. The cookies are in the stomach. The waffles are in the freezer. Whatever other analogy you want to use, let's bring it. I'm meeting a buddy today. It is always better to run with company. Should go by just a tad bit faster, than then I'll have the rest of the day to recover. I might even go crazy and hit up my favorite little warehouse, aka Costco. I need some gas, I need some salad, definitely need some broccoli. I don't have any lessons yet, but typically the insights come from me on the run itself. I'll check back in afterwards. Hope to share something incredibly insightful that'll change the way you train. Talk to you soon. Most importantly, today is a new shoe day. Ladies and gentlemen, the Nike Trail Pegasus. Oh, the upper of a road shoe with the bottom of a trail shoe. Just released to the general public yesterday. Very excited to test these out. This could be my shoe for Western States. Let's hope they feel good. And like that, the last long run of Western States training is done. Boom! Gavin, what do you have to say for your YouTube debut?
It's awesome. Appreciate the spotlight.
You know that I'm running Western States very soon. What's the one piece of advice you have?
Advice from someone who's never run 100.
Yes.
Or been on the...
Yes.
I think it's about running smart and staying within yourself early, knowing that you've done the work. Now it's just time to rest up, and I think you're gonna run great.
Sweet. And all right, take care, Gavin. 20 miles, 2 hours, 45 minutes, 3,200 feet of climbing. Solid day all around. Unfortunately, my GoPro decided to call it quits today. Doesn't want to be working on Friday, so I'm using my iPhone. Can't emphasize enough how valuable it is to have somebody to run with. Got to the first climb, wanted to turn around immediately. Almost told Gavin, "Nah, dog, not for me today." In the words of Aragorn, today is not that day.
But it is not this day!
This day, we fight.
This day we fight!
Gonna cut this short for now. Get back to you once I'm stretched, recovered, and chilling by the pool back at my apartment. All right, we are back in business. Should last a little bit longer. Ooh, $10,000. Cool. Clearly someone's trying to do a practical joke. You didn't get me, sucker. And it wasn't probably until the drive home where I started thinking about what exactly I could structure this video update on. Awkward. I'm trying to have at least one or two real takeaways from the episode. This looks like a cool place to kick it.
This looks like a cool place to kick it.
So, on the drive home, I was thinking a lot about what I wanted to talk about today. The taper, my sweet new shoes. Spoiler alert, they were awesome. But I think I want to talk about heat training. One of the biggest concerns about Western States is not the 100 miles of running. It's not the 17,000 feet of climbing, but it is the heat that you are inevitably going to face at some point during the day. It sounds ridiculous because we're going to be running in a lot of snow, but that will very quickly be replaced by high temperatures in the infamous canyon section. One unique element of training that a lot of professionals have incorporated into their training, ways to deal with that heat. It's the pros that are doing this the most because frankly it takes quite a bit of time to do it right. And I actually discussed way back in 2017 is sauna training. For Western States, I made it into the sauna almost 10 times and it felt like it may have made some difference. The heat didn't get to me quite as much. However, I did end up walking for 35 miles. Whether it was the heat or the distance, something wasn't clicking. Gonna try to do a very structured sauna training program. Began that yesterday. Was joined by my teammate and fellow racer, Matt Daniels. I did know how my body was gonna handle the heat. Not well. What I've read, or at least been told from the most reputable scientific literature, you should try to get in about 10 sessions in the 2 weeks leading up to your race. Even after 5, you're supposed to notice some improvement. I believe it has to do with red blood cell count. I believe it has to do with your body's ability to more efficiently sweat. I'm not quite certain, Literature's out there. I tend to believe scientists, except for when they say crazy things like we landed on the moon, because that clearly didn't happen. Probably shouldn't get political here, so back to sauna training. 10 sessions, even 5 is good. 2 weeks out from your race. It also helps to do it immediately following physical activity. I was gonna start yesterday. The session itself was pretty brutal.
It's so damn hot.
The thermostat said it got up to 220 degrees. Seems rather high.
Milk was a bad choice.
I survived about a 25-minute session with Matt, but then the real pain began. I had clearly sweat out every single ounce of water that was in our bodies. I was almost ready to pass out, and Matt wasn't doing much better. He was looking a little pale. He may have mentioned at one point that he wasn't certain if he was about to throw up or crap his pants. That was kind of a wake-up call for me. Any activity that gets you into a state where you're not sure if you can control your own bowel movements is probably not something that I should be spending a lot of time doing. During my run today, I felt completely depleted. Another passerby. A lot of people around, probably wondering what the heck I'm doing, but somebody's got to do this. Last night got home, started cooking my dinner at 4 o'clock, was in bed, no joke, at 5:40 p.m., slept until almost 6 a.m. Probably not what is typical for a human being to do. Began my run, just felt completely dehydrated. My legs were pretty sluggish. Sure, it could be from the training. It also could have been from the sauna, and I decided the sauna training thing is just not for me. Sure, there might be some scientific evidence that it helps, but if it's gonna make me feel that terrible, then I don't want to incorporate it into my training. This is when you're supposed to be resting and starting to feel good, and the only feeling I get after a sauna session is being completely drained. No sauna for this guy this year, and we'll have to see how things go at States. Another approach that I've seen from folks is throwing on extra layers for runs. Sure, that's gonna make you a bit hotter, but again, at the end of the day, am I enjoying myself? Sure, workouts and some long runs are tough, but there's a moment in there where I'm still having fun. Some of the measures that people are willing to go to in order to prepare themselves for heat training just don't sound comfortable. Yeah, it is technically a job for me, but this is supposed to be enjoyable. At the end of the day, my advice is take advantage of what's around you. Running at lunch is a great technique. Do your long run in hotter areas. Certainly not a bad idea. You're not racing inside of a sauna. So the best thing you can do is to practice what you're gonna do in the race. Being in a long run and trying to manage both the fatigue from a long run plus that heat has to be the most valuable way to prepare yourself. The hardest times to eat and drink for me are when I get overheated, and so putting myself in environments practicing those aspects of running is paramount to my success. Let's start walking to the pool. The main 3 things that typically scare me when thinking about Western states: the altitude, the heat, the 100 miles of running. I've done 100 miles before. I'm prepared for that. Altitude, I am taking care of that by living and training in Boulder, Colorado, which leaves me with heat. Having 2 years of experience is going to be invaluable to know when to take a break, dip into that creek, add ice to my hydration pack. At the end of the day, it's just about staying wet, staying cool, moderating your effort during the worst parts of the day. That's my take on heat training. I've got a lovely pool to dip into right now. Last long run is officially in the books. We've got 15 days until the big dance.